This was all shot on the brand new Sony RX10 V. An all-in-one zoom camera that lets you go from 24mm to 600mm without changing the lens. I spent a week being a tourist in my own city, and I went from this wide shot of the skyline straight to a tight shot of a bunny that I spotted in the grass across the street, without even touching the lens. And then I turned that same camera on my kids, and I got this wide-angle candid moment. And then the tight expression shot, using the same lens, the same camera, nothing swapped in between. Now this is the latest version of the beloved RX10 IV, which came out 9 years ago. So what has changed in this model? In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 6 things that I love about this camera, plus a few things that I wish were different, because no camera is perfect, and you deserve the full picture before spending this kind of money. Now this is actually my first time using the RX10 camera line, although I do own an older Sony a7R III, which came out around the same time as the RX10 IV, so it shares the same processor as that older camera, so you'll see me pull this camera out for a few side-by-side comparisons along the way. But I've always owned interchangeable lens cameras, and I've been really curious about trying an all-in-one zoom camera. So when Sony offered to loan me one, I was thrilled. The RX10 camera line has built a cult following among birders, wildlife hobbyists, and parents like me. So let's see how it checks out. Let's start with some basic specs. Out of the box, the RX10 V shoots 20.1 megapixel stills in JPEG or RAW. That hasn't changed from the older model. But the video specs have been upgraded. You can now shoot in up to 4K 120 frames per second 10-bit slow motion video, but it is slightly cropped. Or Sony has now added a dedicated slow and quick or S&Q button, so you can shoot and play slow or high-speed video in camera. For normal speed video, you can now shoot in up to 4K 60p full pixel readout. That means no cropping because of the 5.4K oversampling. This is an upgrade from the maximum 4K 30 on the Mark IV version. Now video also adds S-Cinetone and S-Log3 plus user display LUTs. And the camera now supports horizontal or vertical shooting. Menu and display will rotate vertically when the camera is tilted. But probably the biggest internal improvement comes from the new processor. I'll get more into that later, but now let's get into those top features that I like. Number 1 on my list is definitely the zoom range. You can zoom in 2 different ways. You can turn the lens zoom ring, or you can use the index finger toggle. I actually prefer the toggle because if you hold it down, it lets you smoothly zoom all the way from 24mm to 600mm, or any focal length in between, and the results look incredibly smooth and cinematic. What's even more impressive is that this isn't just an ultra zoom lens. It also has macro capabilities, which means that it can focus on subjects that are extremely close to the lens. That's as near as 1.1 inches away when you're shooting in 24mm, or 28.3 inches when the telephoto lens is fully extended. It's really wild to me that a lens of that focal range exists in such a compact body because when it's fully retracted, it's roughly the same size as a 24 to 105mm lens. I mean, for comparison, here's my 24 to 70 f2.8 lens. I don't know if you can see that difference. I mean, it's a little bit chunkier or a little bit wider, but definitely shorter. Now on top of that, the RX10 V also has optical steady shot, which is built-in image stabilization that compensates for hand movement. Now because of that, even when you're fully zoomed in, the shots come out looking remarkably steady. I shot all of these ultra zoomed in clips completely handheld, and they turned out incredible. Now to put this kind of range into perspective, think about how many separate lenses you would normally need to cover, wide angle to telephoto with macro. You'd be looking at getting something like a 24 to 70 f2.8 plus a 70 to 200 f2.8, a 200 to 600mm f5.6 to 6.3, and a 600mm. Each of those lenses is really expensive on its own, and the bigger the zoom, the heavier and bulkier the lens gets. I mean, I've tried a Sony 400mm f2.8, and that lens is such a beast. Like, it is way bigger than this 70 to 200. But For full transparency, the lens on the RX10 V is a variable aperture lens. So it goes from f2.4 on the wide end, which lets in a good amount of light when you're shooting in dim rooms or evening. But once you zoom in, that aperture narrows down to f4. So your low light performance can take a real hit when you're zoomed in at the telephoto end. In my opinion, that's a pretty fair trade-off for keeping a lens small and compact. But just don't expect it to be a low light champion once you're zoomed in. I did take this camera with me for a 4-hour event photo shoot, and I ended up using it the entire time. It was so nice to be lightweight while shooting and just use one camera for everything. And it was during this photo shoot where discretion mattered that I came to appreciate the incredibly quiet shutter on this camera. I don't know if you can hear that, but it is so quiet. Let's compare it to my A7R3. I mean, that's a really big difference in terms of sound. Now, number 2 on my list is subject recognition on this camera, and this one genuinely surprised me. The autofocus locked onto my son's entire body almost instantly, even when he had his back to the camera. It also goes well beyond recognizing people. It can identify birds, animals, and even vehicles too. I mean, at one point, it even locked focus onto a kiddie car, which made me laugh. Now, all of this is possible because of the new AI chip and processor inside of this camera. Instead of looking for simple shapes or obvious contrast like older systems do, this camera uses deep learning to understand what it's actually looking at. So it recognizes human skeletal structures and body poses, meaning it knows where a person's head, shoulders, and limbs are at any given moment. So if your subject turns around, the camera doesn't lose them. It simply switches to tracking the back of their head. The same goes for non-human subjects like birds, insects, cars, trains, and even airplanes. It identifies and locks onto them almost instantly, and it keeps tracking them even if they're briefly hidden behind something. Number 3 is the upgraded focus points, which goes in hand with the subject recognition. So the RX10 V now has 575 autofocus points compared to 315 on the older model. And they cover 70.6% of the image area, which means that you can focus on subjects much closer to the edges of the frame. Now, Sony has also added new focus area sizes with this model, including what they call Spot XL, which is my personal favorite since I almost always shoot in spot autofocus. Number 4 is the continuous shooting speed. This camera can shoot in up to 30 frames per second compared to 24 frames per second on the older model, and it does that with no blackout or lag in between shots. That means you're never shooting blind when you're holding down the shutter. I mean, yes, it is incredible for wildlife and bird photography, where you might need to capture split-second moments. But it's equally useful for sports, kids, pets, anything else that moves faster than you might react. And when you combine that shooting speed with the AI-powered subject recognition that we just talked about, the camera is essentially doing 2 things at once: locking onto your subject and firing off shots fast enough that you're almost guaranteed to get the one that you want. Now, Sony also added a small but really practical feature here. You can assign a speed boost function to any custom button on the camera, which lets you temporarily kick up your continuous shooting speed mid-burst without having to stop and go into the menu and change it. So instead of always shooting in high-speed burst mode and filling up your memory card, you can shoot at a more conservative speed, and then you punch the button only when the action gets intense. Number 5 is the expanded dynamic range and the color accuracy. The upper limit on the RX10 V has been pushed to level 8, which makes a noticeable difference anytime you're dealing with challenging lighting, like shooting someone standing in front of a bright window or a sunny outdoor backdrop. So essentially, the camera analyzes the scene to figure out where the light is coming from and what kind of light it is, which results in much more accurate automatic white balance and natural-looking skin tones straight out of the camera. The 6th feature about the RX10 V that impressed me was the build quality, starting with the camera body. It feels really solid and substantial with a deep grip that people with larger hands will especially appreciate. If you've used a recent Sony Alpha camera, the layout of the buttons and the menus will feel immediately familiar. I personally love that it has a physical joystick for moving the focus point, along with the option to use the touchscreen on the rear display, So you have both options available depending on how you like to shoot. But there's one thing about the body layout that really trips me up, and that's the placement of the power button. I'm used to having that where the zoom toggle is, so I still occasionally reach for the wrong thing out of habit. It's a minor thing, but it's worth knowing if you're coming from a different camera system. For connectivity, the camera has a multi-interface hot shoe on top for attaching accessories like a flash or an external microphone, plus a dedicated 3.5mm microphone input and a headphone output for monitoring audio. You also get a micro HDMI port and 2 USB-C ports. One handles charging, and the other can connect the camera to a computer so you can use it as a webcam or live stream it up to 4K 30 frames per second. For the battery, it uses the newer Z series battery, which means strong battery life compared to older models. And the lens build is equally impressive. It's a Zeiss lens, and the zoom and the focus rings are metal rather than rubber, which gives it a really premium feel. There's also a clickable aperture ring, which photographers who are used to manual control will appreciate. The entire lens and camera combination is also dust and moisture resistant, which matters a lot if you're shooting outdoors in unpredictable conditions. So those are 6 things I really like about the RX10 V. But now for the things I'm not quite as enthusiastic about. I don't think these are deal breakers, but I do think they're worth knowing before you buy. First, despite having a lot of professional level features, this camera is hard for a working professional to fully rely on as a primary tool. And there's a couple of small details why. Number one, it only has one SD card memory slot, whereas most professionals like me prefer to have 2, so we can record a simultaneous backup just in case. Also, that fixed lens is a genuine advantage in a lot of ways. Number one, there's no decision fatigue about which lens to bring, and there's no risk of damaging the sensor when you're swapping your lenses in the field. But that cuts both ways. If this lens gets scratched or stuck or damaged on an important paid shoot, you can't pull a spare lens out of your bag and swap it and keep working. That's a real trade-off that's worth knowing or thinking through, depending on how you plan to use this camera. Second, I wish that the LCD monitor tilted out or it had that flip screen rather than just tilting like this. I mean, for me, this is really going to depend on what kind of content you like to shoot, but I like to have that fully articulating flip screen because for shooting low angles or getting in front of the camera and filming yourself, which I do a lot of, I really depend on having that flip screen. So I do wish that that was present on this camera. Third, the overall size. Now, I completely understand why this camera is the size that it is, because covering this kind of zoom range in a single body is genuinely impressive, and it's still much lighter and far cheaper than having to buy individual interchangeable lenses whenever you need to zoom in. But the trade-off is that you do need to carry this in a dedicated camera bag. It's not going to fit in your purse, unless you have a really big one, and it definitely will not fit in your pocket. So as a parent who wants to capture everyday moments with my kids, it's not a hard sell exactly, but it does require more intentionality. You have to plan around bringing it rather than just grabbing it on your way out the door. So bottom line, as an all-in-one zoom camera, the RX10 V is insane in terms of the image quality and the value. I've personally used some of Sony's huge zooms, so the fact that you can get that kind of zoom range in a camera and lens this small, and the image quality in the far end is actually impressive, like this camera is a no-brainer for someone who values that. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. Have you tried the RX10 camera line? And if you have, which model is your favorite? Or would you upgrade to the Mark V? Let me know your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.